Welcome to the yoga practice. For recording, I will just remind that for this class we will need a folded towel in 3 layers, the bath towel, resistance bands, the regular resistance band and the loop band. But if you don't have any of the equipment, no worries, you will be able to practice without those special props. They just for some a reference in the moves that we will explore today. We are starting our practice on the back, maybe with a supported back of the head, with a comfortable neutral position of the pelvis. If you're finding that you like to have your knees bent, you're welcome to have your knees bent. Arms in a comfortable position on the sides of the body. You can also have your hands on the belly and on the chest to help you to be more aware of your diaphragmatic breath that we will practice to start. So as you're inhaling through the nostrils, you're sending all your air to the abdomen area, allowing the abdomen area to expand. And on exhale, allow the air to come very slowly out from the lungs, feeling that this abdomen area shrinks. And I would also invite you to notice how your lower back feels, like it's like a release of the lower back toward the floor. So with inhale, expansion of the chest, exhale, a bit of a collapse of the midsection of the torso. Make sure that you are, while practicing the deep breathing, you are not forcing to over inhalation, like you're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing air in. Just find that natural pace when the lungs accept all the air that you're inhaling, and then you very slowly, and that's important, you are taking all the air out. So you're trying not to keep any residue air in the lungs. You want to empty the lungs to the fullness, and that will activate naturally your inhalation again. So this deep breathing or diaphragmatic breath is the breathing that helps us to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, allow us to relax, allow us to bring the mind toward observing sensations in the body. So let us have here 5 more deep breaths that you still continue keeping your mind on the sensations of the breathing, sensations of the expansion and shrinking of the diaphragm. Completion of your 5 exhale, let us bring the arms in T position and walk your feet to the edges of the mat. So you have a little bit of wider position for your feet and knees. And let us drop the knees to the left. And just hold here for the moment and observe the sensation on the top of the right hip and our left hip. So your right hip now in internal rotation, your left hip is in external rotation. So just notice how that feels, how all the tissues respond to that, and then bring your knees up, back, and then drop the knees to the other side. And you might be surprised that you don't feel the same sensation on the top of your left hip. Maybe your left hip loves the internal rotation more than the right. Let's do it one more time. Bring the knees up and drop the knees to the left and just observe. Maybe now you don't feel this as tense as the first time on the top of the right hip. And then bring the knees up back and drop the knees to the opposite side. And feel the stretch. And here, just give me a second. I think the battery might be low. So I need to put the cord. So when you're ready to return your knees back to the center, let us bring the right knee to the chest. Bring your left leg straight. And then just help with the right hand and go to the circular movement of your right knee. So press the knee to the chest and then just open the knee to the side and then go again. I will be in a moment with you demonstrating. Yep, good. Okay, so here we are and I'm back and we are going with this circular movement with the knee. So open knee to the side and then bring the knee across the body. You might feel more stretch on the back of the hip. And then go again. So just warming up the hip. Maybe go in one more time with the right knee. And then bring the knee back to the center. And then go with the same leg opposite direction. So here's like you're going into the half hip stretch and then go across. So maybe one more time go with the right knee and then we'll do the same with the left. So extend your right leg and interlace the hands on the top of the left knee. Pull the knee to the chest first. And then just go with the circular movements here. So, feeling maybe some tightness on the glute area. Finishing the last one and go in the opposite direction. Maybe going 3, 4, 5, depend on the pace. Slower is better to go. And then let us set the feet back on the hip distance and then let us lift the heels, reach to your feet, bringing the elbows inside and just a very gentle stretch of the inner thighs. But when you go to this position, make sure that the tailbone is not coming off the floor. Maintain your neutral spine. If you cannot hold your feet, hold your ankles, pressing elbows inside and pressing the heels toward the groin area, but maintain neutral spine. So just hold it here for another exhale. And then let us bring the knees together and let's rock from the head to the hips a couple of times and then roll into the seated position. So if you just joined us, we're using the folded blanket, resistance band and loop bands today. And from the seated position, let us come into the tabletop position. So in a tabletop position, you bring your hands under the shoulders, you bring your knees under the hips, and let us go into the couple of cat and dog stretches. And today in the cat and dog stretches, I would invite you to focus on sensations of the pelvis movement with connection of the engagement of the abdomen muscles. So when you come into the cat, notice how you are pulling the belly and you engage in the abdomen muscle to press the spine out. And then of course you go to the contour pose into the dog stretch. So also in the cat stretch, notice how you maybe squeeze in your glutes a little bit to actually tuck the tailbone under. But while we are focusing on the pelvis movement, don't forget the movement of your head. So be aware of some stretch for the back of your neck and the rest of the muscles along the spine. So we'll go for another one here, and then we'll come to the neutral position. Let us bring the knees together to the midline of the mat. Also, if you feel that you're unstable with the right hand under the right shoulder, you can bring the right hand a little bit closer to the midline to get more support. As we're going to extend the right leg, we're going to extend the left arm, and then we're going to lift the right leg off the floor. So here, as you're holding, make sure you're not collapsing with your belly down, but you're maintaining the neutral position. And then from here, inhale, stretch, and exhale, bring the left elbow and the right knee together. And again, squeeze the abdomen area in, and then inhale, stretch. And exhale, bring elbow and knee together, and then inhale, stretch. And then exhale, bring it together. We have 2 more reps. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, bring the elbow and knee together. And one more time, stretch. And exhale, bring it together, and then reset yourself back into the tabletop position. You should feel a little bit more awareness of the right side of the torso. Let's have the right knee maybe a little bit closer to the midline. Maybe left hand comes a little bit closer to the midline to give you more support. Extend your left leg, extend your right leg, then lift your left leg off the floor. Make sure you're not extending to the lower back. Inhale and exhale, bring the elbow and knee together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale, and then come back into the tabletop. Then take your knees wide as gives you some space to drop the hips down. And keep your hands as forward as you need, maybe like almost like a child pose. And let us again move a little bit forward. So feel some stretch in the hips, but here you might feel your knees uncomfortable, so don't go forward to feel pain in your knees. So just move a little bit forward, and then move a little bit back and into the child pose, and then move a little bit forward, and then move a little bit back, and then hold it here, pressing the hips toward the heels, opening the whole left side, back of the lower back here, and just notice your stretch around the sacrum here. Take an exhale, and then let us come into the downward dog. So this is the first downward dog. Set your feet hip distance, bring the head between the arms. Keep your knees bent first to maintain the pelvis position first. So set your pelvis position proper way, and then just pedal your heels, allowing yourself to stretch the back of your legs a couple of times. Taking another exhale, and then let's drop the knees down to the floor and step the right foot forward. And here, come into the low lunge. If you need to have your blocks to support your hands, you can definitely use it. And we will work on the opening of the hip. So pressing the hip forward, and just feeling the stretch around the left hip. Maybe some stretch around the right glute. So just feel it here and then use the blocks and press the hips back and flex the right foot. Try to bring your knees straight. You don't need to fold forward. You can keep your chest open. Work off with the right foot to get stretched for the hamstring, and let's come again forward, as far forward as you can, and then let's tuck the left toes and lift the left knee off the floor and come to the wider lunge that you can sustain. That's why you might want to use the blocks here. And let's just stretch a little bit the hips coming up and down. So a little bit more intense stretch for the hip flexors here. And then let's drop the left knee down to the floor. We will change. We'll step the left foot forward. And first, with the right knee on the floor, you checking how that feels in the hips. So a little bit of a pulsing here first, and then using the blocks to support and send the hips back. Flex the left foot, some stretch on the back of the leg, and then come forward again, and then tuck your toes and lift the knee off the floor. And now just try to come into the widest stance and a little bit off there, like you go into split. Just a little bit more stretch here, but a dynamic stretch. So just with the pulses here, and then drop the right knee down to the floor. And from here we come again to the downward dog. And now in a downward dog, just notice how you hopefully release a little bit tension that you maybe felt on the first downward dog on the back of your legs. And again, you can go pedaling a little bit, and then look forward, and then walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance and just hang here. Make sure that you're hinging from the hips all the way down, letting your head to go toward the floor. Being grounded through the full foot length, so not just on the heels. Don't lock your knees, but instead send your sit bones up toward the ceiling, and then very slowly let's unroll into the standing. Here, have a moment like kind of like you hugging the big ball, so trying to be as rounded as possible with your spine. Feel some tension maybe on the neck, maybe mid-back, and then come all the way up into standing position. Great. So we are with the feet hip distance, arms on the sides of the hips, and we'll warm up the body even more with the sun salutations. With inhale, lift the arms up, hinging from the hips, coming all the way down into the fold. Bring the hands on the shins and coming into half fold. So just remember how we discussed this last time, that we want to maintain neutral spine even if you need to be a little bit higher. And then touch the floor and step your left foot back and keep your knee off the floor. Pick up the blocks that I hope you can reach on the sides of the mat and lift your torso up, and then have a tip of the fingers and lift your torso up even more, so you have a space between your front thigh and your torso, and interlace the hands behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades, keep your neck in a neutral position, so neck and head is continuation of your leg and spine, and the crown of the head goes forward, but you ground it through the back heel. And let's press the left heel down to the floor a couple of times, feeling more stretch in the calf and feeling a little bit stretch in the right glute. And then from here, just take your time to come into downward dog. If it takes several moves, that's fine. In a downward dog, we're going to have 3 exhalations. And keep your diaphragmatic breath. Have your long exhales here. On next exhale, let's drop the knees down to the floor and just find your Sphinx pose. So get your elbows down, slide your legs back so you're in a Sphinx pose. Have a strong legs, and just press the floor with the forearms. Open the chest, Don't lift the chin too high. Don't compress the back of the neck. And keeping the strong legs, keeping the strong glutes. Let's lift the elbows, maybe inch off the floor. So increase a little bit the extension of the spine, and then bring the elbows down. Let's have it 2 more times. Lift it. Maybe now you can go a little bit higher if it feels right for your lower back, and come down. And then 1 more time, lift the elbows, chest open, and exhale down. From here, you're finding the hands on the sides of the rib cage, tightening the toes, and coming into the downward dog. Exhale. Long, long, long spine. And then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Have your hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway, and then unfold all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Let's go to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Long spine, so it's a passive fold. Then bring the hands on the shins and come to the active hip hinge. And then touch the floor, step the right foot back. Use your blocks here. And lift the torso a little bit. Use the back leg for support and bring just the tip of the fingers. Lift your torso even more. You should have some space between your rib and the thigh. And then take your arms on the back, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades, and hold. Press the back heel. Feel a little bit extra stretch on the right cuff. Press the front knee forward. Feel a little bit extra stretch on the right glute. And then again, if it takes you several moves, that's okay. Come to the downward dog. Exhale, long spine. Again, let's drop the knees and just your way find your belly line position. This time we'll bring the elbows on the sides of the rib cage, keeping their forearms perpendicular to the floor. Strong legs, strong glutes, and then lift the torso. And might be not high. Maybe it's just a newborn cobra. So just lift the head a little bit. Feel that the whole back is working. All the muscles of the posterior chain are working, including calves, hamstrings, glutes, all the muscles along the spine. And then tuck the toes. Maybe through the cat stretch, come into the downward dog. Exhale. And then on next inhale, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands on the shins and lift the chest halfway, and then unfold all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Okay, so let us pick up our resistance band and press it around your shoulder blades. So resistance bands today is just for the reference. So I want you to stretch it. It doesn't need to be something tremendous for your arms. You just feel that there is some resistance in your upper back, okay? So straight arms, so some resistance. And now here, I want you to think of squeezing the shoulder blades and lifting the tailbone, and then finding the abdomen strength to get back to neutral. So extending your lower back, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then pressing and coming to the neutral. So from the abdomen, from the upper back. Again, have some extension, so you're now in the back bend here. You may be even squeezing the shoulder blades, and then you're pressing space between the shoulder blades, and you're adjusting the pelvis, so feel the resistance. And now I want you to hold this resistance. I want you to hold this engagement of the abdomen. Your feet are hip distance. You come into the chair pose. So that's what I want you today to feel, that in chair pose, you're not extending. So very often, practitioners are coming to chair. I'm exaggerating, but practitioners are coming to extended back. I want you to feel how you engage in the abdomen, the whole back of your body, to resist and feel how that, absolutely different work. And come up, let's rest. Okay, let's do it again. So you can, now let us come to the chair pose that you usually will go. And now press the resistance band and start engaging the abdomen muscles to adjust the pelvis and press the whole back into resistance band. You might fold forward. So I can see Emilia is almost like a straight spine. You might fold forward a little bit. That's going to give you more hinge in the hips, but you're pressing. Yeah, but very good, yes. I don't see all of you in a side, but it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, perfect, everyone. And come all the way up and exhale. Let us release the resistance band and let us just have the same sensation, because usually we're not using resistance band. So hinging from the hips, coming to your lowest position, taking arms in front, and then start engaging the core to press the back of the body. Very good. And keep your shoulders relaxed and smile. Smile for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way up. Exhale, shake your legs. Very good. I like it. So we'll work now in a little bit of the inner thigh strength. And I would like you to have this towel. And this towel is to lift your heels. I even feel that I want to maybe roll my towel even a little bit higher. So to lift my heels even higher. And go into the position where heels are almost touching. They don't need to be touching. And toes wide, okay? And just let yourself to go into this plié squat. Okay, and now just bring your hands in front of you. Even I would ask you to take a block. We're not using the weights today, but I just want you to feel something like you're pressing. So you engage in the abdomen when you hold in here. And just watch me. I'm gonna go with a side view. We're gonna come into the squat, and then we're gonna come up and not gonna go all the way with our straight knees. We're gonna stop halfway, and then we're gonna go again, and then come up and just not extending the knee. We're gonna go for 10, okay? Everybody understand? Heels together, toes apart, knees goes out, and slightly press the block, but when you go into this squat, you remember that you need to maintain neutral spine. And let's go down and up. Knees remain bent. So we're not releasing the hamstrings. And come up 2, 3, 4. You start feeling your inner thighs, you start feeling your hamstrings and glutes. 5, 6, 7. Control the lower back. 8. Feel the burden in your inner thighs. Yes, no? And 2 more. 9. And 10. Okay, that's good. So let us just move the towel blanket away. Shake your legs. Come to the front of the mat. So we're going to be just using this awareness of the inner thigh into next lunge position. So get yourself into neutral position, and with inhale, come into the chair pose. So you're neutral here, pressing the abdomen in, controlling your lower back. On exhale, bring the hands on the shins and come into the hip hinge. Again, maintaining neutral position. Then touching the floor and stepping the left foot back into lunge. Bringing the hands on the hips. Using the back leg for support. And now I want you to be aware of your inner thigh to control the front knee. So you're not letting the front knee to fall in. Just hold this really strong. Take your arms up into the warrior 1. And as you hold in this warrior 1, be a little bit aware of the front of the body, like you're pressing yourself again into this resistance band. Just visualize how you are coming into whatever possible here, into the neutral position. Bring the hands on the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale. On inhale, come to the plank, and now just think of the resistance band around your shoulder blades. Press the space between the shoulder blades up toward the ceiling, and use your glutes and your legs. The whole body is working to resist the gravity here. Drop the knees down to the floor. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back. Strong legs. Inhale, come into cobra. Maybe that's already baby cobra. It grew a little bit. Tag the toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. Exhale, long spine. Step in the right foot closer to the midline. Step in the left foot forward. Bring the hands on the hips. And before we come into the warrior, I want you again to find your inner thigh engagement here, to control the knee. Use the back leg for support, taking the arms up into the warrior one. And as you hold in the warrior one, you're not letting the ribs to come forward. Again, just think of this resistance band that we had. Engage the abdomen area to resist, to maintain the focus on the midsection. Bring the hands on the floor. Step into downward dog. Exhale. On inhale, flow into the plank. Push the floor. Squeeze the glutes. And again, think of resisting with the front of the body to the body weight of the back of the body. Drop the knees down to the floor. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the chest up. And then tap the toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. Let us have here 3 exhales, using the downward dog for all the back bends that we practice in today, allowing the traction of the spine, allowing the stretch of the back of the body that we are talking a little bit more in particular today. And then look forward and walk toward the front of the mat, and then lift the chest off the floor into the hip hinge, and let's come again into the chair pose. And here we control in this pelvis. Again, just think that you hold in the resistance band. Engage the front of the body to resist. Very good, everyone. And then press from the heels up. Inhale, exhale, bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Great. Let us step into the wide leg position, and just go from side to side to start with. Your toes are slightly apart here, so allowing your knees to come out. So I want you, I can see some of you have the position where the heel is too inside, so knee goes too far. So step wider. So when you come to the right, your knee not moving from the heel alignment more than like inch. Yeah, so a little bit wider. So go just a couple of times here, and let's come to the right. And then here start sliding your left leg as far as you feel good, and just keep your torso on the center. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Feel the work of the right inner thigh here. Just hold. Check your lower abdomen. Check your pelvis position. Let's come to the left and hold. So you have a tendency, I know, you have a tendency to collapse with the left knee in. Keep this alignment. So here, if you draw the line from the center of your thigh, center of your shin should go to the second toe. So your knee is not coming in. Use your inner thigh strength. Okay, let us come and rest with the straight legs. And this time we're going to go all the way down to the right, lifting the right heel and lifting the left foot up. And keep yourself tall. If you want, you can even use the block here for support to open in the chest. So I don't want you to collapse forward. Okay, and now from here, if you're using the block, I'm showing you with the block, you're just trying to slide your hips to the left as low as you can. Again, open the foot up. And again, you might use the block to have some support to keep your chest open. And then let us go back to the right. Opening the chest. And then going to the left one more time. And here I'm showing with the block. Just use the block to lift your hips up and come up into standing. So we're going to go almost the same, but we're going to be high. So come into this sumo squat. So again, control that your knees are not going wider than your heels. You want to have your shins perpendicular to the floor. And this time we go to the right, lift your left foot. So now you need to use the strength of the right leg. Go to the center, go to the left, flex your other foot. Try to keep your torso on the center. Come to the sumo squat, come to the right. Use your inner thigh to control the knee. Come to the center, go to the left. Come to the center, go to the right. Come to the center, go to the left. Last time, come to the center, go to the right. So hips just moving on the level of the knees. Come to the left, come to the center, and then bring your knees straight. Turn your toes in, and just fold forward in the way that the body allows you, and just allow yourself to rest, to stretch the back of the legs. And then go toes, heels. Come back into the hip distance. And then very slowly come up into standing position. So for the next one, if you feel you want to use the chair, I will be using the high chair here for demonstration. You can go to the wall, otherwise you just exercising the balance. We're going to be going into the hip rotation here. So why it's good to have a wall or chair? It's going to be your reference, because we love to collapse to the left. So you're going to have more reference if you're collapsing, because you want to maintain your left side straight. So bring the body weight to the left leg and lift your right knee up. You can even use your hand to pull the knee high. Keep your foot flexed. Now from here, open knee to the side. Maintain the left side all straight. I'm only touching the chair with just the tip of the fingers. Now start bringing the knee in, heel out. So internal rotation, and then take the knee back. Of course, we don't want to move the leg, and release. So your hand should be on the hip. I'm just demonstrating that. So lift the knee back and start opening the hip. Here, just pull the knee high, bring it to the front, pull the knee high, and then release. Let's do it 2 more times for the right. So lift the knee. I'm using my hand just to show you how high we can go. Then come here again, pulling it in. But using my inner thigh now, I'm rotating my hip, taking my knee back, hip square, knee square, and then release. Okay, going back, taking the knee. So if you see here, knee goes back, and then knee comes high here, and knee comes to the front, and release. Last time, knee up. Open. When you open, your hip stays parallel to the front. Rotating the knee in, going back, and release. Last time to go to the front, and then we change the leg. Lift the knee, and rotating, holding, and release. So shake your left hip. So while we're working on mobility on the hip that we are manipulating, the other hip we are working on stability and strength. So Let's go to the other side. Lift your left knee again. You might use, especially for the first one, this pull. So you're finding how high you can lift your knee. Open to the side, maintaining hip square, and start taking the knee in. Keeping this as far to the left as possible before you bring this into extension and release. Make sure you're keeping the foot flexed all the time. So take the knee back, and then coming here to the side, bring the knee to the front, and release. We have 2 more to go. Lift the knee, maybe pulling, open, maybe pulling, rotating, holding yourself strong here, and release. Taking the knee back, taking the knee to the side, maintaining hip square, bring the knee to the front, and release. Again, lifting, open, go all the way back, and release. Last time to bring it to the front, bring it back in, and release. Great. Shake your legs, and we're coming to the front of the mat again to flow one more time before we go to the seated position. With inhales, lift the arms up. Maintain a neutral spine. Exhale, folding forward, stretching the back of the legs. Bring the hands to the shins, coming into the hip hinge. Touching the floor, stepping the left foot back, dropping the left heel. Bring your hands to the edge of the mat and maybe go a little bit wider today. Lift your torso so you're in a warrior 2 position, but we prep our hips to get into the wide position. Use the strength of the right inner thigh to control the knee. Knee facing front, taking arms overhead and then taking arms to the side into warrior 2 position. Bringing the gaze to the right middle finger. And here again, I want you to be aware that you're not extending. Think of this resistance band which we use today to engage the abdomen muscles to maintain as neutral as possible here. Making a huge circle with the left arm, stepping into plank, holding the plank, dropping the knees down. Exhale, come all the way on the floor. Having hands on the sides of the rib cage, roll the shoulders back. Come into the cobra. Maybe it's grew a little bit more again. Tug the toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. On next inhale, stepping the left foot forward, dropping the right heel, walking your hands to the edge of the mat. Maybe trying to go today a little bit wider, lifting the torso up, controlling the front knee, knees not falling in. Use this inner thigh strength. Check your arms overhead. Maintain as much as possible the neutral lower back. Take your arms to the side, bring your gaze to the middle left finger. Keep your shoulders relaxed, stretching the arms in both directions. Back leg is all supported. Making a huge circle with the right arm and stepping into plank, holding the plank. Dropping the knees down, exhale, come down. Hands on the sides of the ribcage, strong legs. Lift the chest into the cobra. And this time we press the hips into the child pose. Exhale. Then let us come into the seated position, and I am using my mini band to get over my ankle. So if you're not owning the mini band, you can just tie the regular band or go to the wide. Actually, let us have it over the knees. And just drop the knees to the left here, and we will be just working with this. We'll be just opening the knee out. If you're not owning the band, yeah, you can go with a wide as well, Leanne. Yeah, it's gonna work as well. So just working on the hip strength here. So if you're not owning the band, just get your feet hip distance, knees apart, as wide as possible, and work on keeping the torso straight and lifting the knee. So I see some confusion on screen, so that's what we're doing. Just lifting the knee up with some resistance. Yeah, very good. You start feeling right away some work in this hip area. Yeah, and if the band is not working for some reason, you just doing this without band. Without band, you probably have a little bit more range of movement. You can go a little bit higher, so that's going to be less strength, more mobility, but it's still worth to do it. So try your best. I'm going to show also with this band how that looks. So just opening, keeping the knee on the floor. So I believe everyone did quite a lot of the reps, and let's go to the other side. So your feet are, so with a wide one you need to play, now it's still over the knees, and just work with the strength of the inner thigh to lift if you're able. With a less resistance band, you might keep yourself higher, and we'll have a little bit of the reps here. So working on some small muscles that helping us to stabilize the hips. You know, in my classes I always emphasize it's not just a passive stretch that we want to do with the hips. Stable hips comes with a strong hip, right? And then working on the strength of the muscles, very often actually releasing the tension in the hip. Good, and let us release. So here you can just sit to watch me. We still have the band over the knees. If you don't have the band, no worry, you still can practice. We'll bring the feet together, heels as close as you feel right for you. Maintain a neutral spine, and you're gonna all the time gonna press the knees apart when you're gonna go into the bridge. You're gonna go 10 reps of the bridge, okay? So bring your feet together, knees apart. If you don't have the resistance band, you still work same, just a less work for the inner thighs. So inner thighs will be engaged all the time. And let us lift the hips. You don't need to go to extension. Maintain neutral spine and then drop it down. That's one. Lift the hips and hold a little bit, pressing the knees apart, and come down. 2. Again, lift the hips, knees apart. You're working with the glutes. And 3. Lift, maintain neutral. Use the glutes. Use the inner thighs. Come down. 5. Lift. And down. 6. Lift. Come down. 7. Lift. Come down. 8. Lift. 9. Last time, lift. And 10. Bring your knees together. Maybe even bring your knees to your chest. Rock from side to side. And we'll come to the one-legged bridge. If you're not sure, just observe me. We're going to extend the right leg. You start with the feet closer to the midline. And then you extend the one leg, flex the foot. We're going to lift and just hold here. You can press the upper leg slightly. Hold for 1, 2, 3. Come down. We're going to change. Extend the leg. Coming up. 1, 2, 3. Coming down. Okay? So let us do it together. So when you're ready, extend your right leg, lift your hips, holding 1, 2, 3. Come down, change your leg, extend the left, lift the hips, holding 1, 2, 3. Coming down, change the legs. Extend the right, coming up, 1, 2, 3. Coming down, change the leg, extend left, lift up, 1, 2, 3. Coming down, we'll have 2 more reps for each leg. Extend the right leg, lift, and hold for 1, 2, 3. Coming down, bring the foot down, extend the leg, lift, holding for 1, 2, 3. Coming down, last time, we'll lift, holding for 1, 2, 3. Coming down and extend the left and hold for 1, 2, 3, and come down. Let us remove the band. Bring the knees to the chest and rock from side to side. You already have some stretch for the glutes, and we'll continue with that by bringing the right ankle on the top of the left knee, flexing the foot, and just lifting the left leg off the floor. You can extend the left leg. You can actually use your band as the strap to reach to the left foot and just hold the foot up, keeping the right foot and left foot both flexed and opening the right knee away from the chest, achieving the stretch. But don't lift your tailbone off the floor. Try to maintain neutral spine here. Okay, so working here for some glute stretch as we put it on work. So they probably feel on fire right now. So we worked today on the inner thigh a little bit, on the glute a little bit, on the hamstring a little bit. All those muscles are helping us to maintain the stable hip, as well as we worked on the hip flexor, the deep internal core muscle that are also very important for the hip stability and mobility. And let us just change, so you can bring the right foot down, bring the left ankle on the top of the right knee, and then lift your leg. You don't necessarily need to use the band. You can interlace the hands behind. I just love to be more into alignment with my feet, and also here I have extra stretch for the hamstring. So this is my preference. You might practice that in a little bit different variation that feels right for you, especially if you don't have any band on hand. You might just interlace the hands behind the right leg. Work and focus on opening the left knee out. And then let us release. So we'll bring the feet down to the floor. And here, move the hips slightly to the left. So your shoulders and head remain where they are on the midline of the mat. Move the hips to the left a little bit. And then extend your right leg and take your left knee across into any position that feels right for you. Take your arms into T maybe, and drop the head to the left shoulder. Maybe your left heel comes under the right knee, achieving more stretch around the hip. Allow yourself to find a more relaxed breathing. Send it to the area of the stretch sensations, trying to release the tissues. We'll have here another 5 breaths. And then very slowly release yourself. You would like to bring the hips back on the midline. So aligning the spine back on the mat, and then move the hips slightly to the right while your shoulders and head remain where they are. Extend your left leg. Take your right leg across as far as it feels right for you. Maybe bringing the heel onto the knee and turning the head to the right. Work here with your breathing. Now the 3 exhales. And then let us release the leg and return the hips back on the midline. And reach to the block and place the block under the lower back. Make sure that it's not under the waist area, it's under the hips, and we'll lift the legs up. And we'll have a little bit more restful inversion, keeping the safe lower back here with support. Legs are going up, arms are resting, any position that feels right for you. We have a couple of very hot, humid days in front of us, so remember to maybe practice inversion by the end of the day to activate the lymphatic system. You can always have a little bit of a shake that we also practicing. That's also a great one to do, but if you don't like the shakes, you can just keep the legs up. Let's have here another minute. Then let's bench the knees and let us move the block away. If you feel you need a little bit of a massage for the lower back, go ahead with slightly circling your knees around, and then when you're ready, extend your legs, extend your arms. You're welcome to use the folded blanket. Sometimes we feel like the head is falling too low. The folded blanket can come under the neck and under the back of the head with the arms wide. And let us practice Shavasana, the asana of stillness, asana of awareness of the body resting. It's very different from sleepy because you want to be awake and you want to be aware of how you feel in this moment, aware your presence in the space. Don't need to force the breath, just allowing the breath to flow in and out through the nostrils in a comfortable way. Gentle movements will return in fingers and toes, circles and wrists and ankles. You can now one by one bend your knees. If you feel you want to drop the knees from side to side, just slightly release the lower back from stillness, and then just roll to one side. Use your one arm to bring yourself into the seated position. And then we'll bring the hands in front of the chest. Maybe having the eyes gently closed. Thank yourself for being able to practice today, and take any positive experience, any positive energy that we generated together, even through virtual class. Take it with you to be your guide for the rest of the day. Namaste.